Welcome to episode 54, Writing and Depression. Thank you so much for joining me. I don't have any announcements today, so I just kind of want to jump into the topic today. It's writing and depression, and mostly the reason why I chose to do this, I had a completely different topic in mind for this video, and to be all honest with you, I am in a bit of a funk, and a bit of a funk means I am in depression, and for good reason. Not that I'm saying that being in having depression is a good reason or not a good reason, but I've had a lot of stuff going on, and that's usually how I am triggered into a depression. And I know I mentioned in the last video that we had some family health issues that came up and that I was just going to charge through. And well, turns out I can't just charge through. I'm just not emotionally and mentally made that way. So just to kind of have some real talk here and let you know what's going on. I found out on December the 27th that my mother had a diagnosis of breast cancer. And I was already pretty much in a funk anyway, because I have some issues with the day job as the librarian, the high school librarian. And so this just kind of pushed me right over the loop and put me right where I need to be in a full-blown depression. And, it sealed the deal. And it's made it very difficult for me to even concentrate on doing these videos, which, I plan them way in advance, and I kind of have an idea of what I want to do, and I have an outline because I outline, and just being able to come into my office and sit down, spend the 10-15 minutes it takes to make sure I do have a good cut of video, and then however long it takes to edit it and add the music and the bumper, the front and the back text, that it just was too much for me to think about. So I know I've spoken many times about how your emotional state can play a role in being able to write. It's actually one of the tenets of my Write Fearlessly class. So if you signed up for that, we'll be talking about this emotional stuff that does keep you from writing. And I am able to provide personal experience with that, and that is one of the things I want to be able to share with you on probably the next few videos, is just how I'm dealing with all of this. I have to develop my own game plan to keep the creativity going, and a lot of times, having a game plan doesn't work whenever you have the unknown variables involved. So the idea of, at first it was just, I need to try to find another job because it's not supporting what I want to do. It's not supporting what I want to do as a librarian. It's not supporting what I want to do creatively. And I just feel that at some point I won't have that job, not because I didn't want to have the job, it's because something else is going to happen. And between that and trying to navigate job searches and figuring out how I'm going to get my mom to her next doctor's appointment, I just haven't been doing what I should creatively. And that's even getting up journaling. Lately I have been sleeping late. Normally I have my alarm set for 5 a.m. and up until about October, early November-ish, I was able to get up at 5 a.m., get my journaling in, do what I need to do, and have a pretty, good outlook on life. And then just as November hit, and even with Thanksgiving and everything, it just seemed to really weigh on me. And then, Christmas break hit for me, and my mother's diagnosis, and it just made it so I got up at, maybe 6:15, maybe 6:30, and I had about an hour to get ready for work. And I would take my journal to work with me and try to fit it in when I could. And I can tell you, I have never successfully journaled at work where it didn't end up with me griping about what was happening at that very moment at work. It's one of the number one reasons why I tell people, please don't take your journal to work and try to write it, because the only thing that's going to be on your mind is how either frustrated you are at work or bored, or because if you have time to write, you might not be as busy as you could be. And, I just hadn't found that the gripiness of it being helpful for me at all. It didn't help me mentally. It actually made me more upset to write about stupid things that were happening with my job. And if you work with me and you're watching this video, yes, stupid things happen with my job. Some of you probably already know that. But for the next 2 weeks, I am taking a leave of absence from work because my mother is having her mastectomy on Tuesday, so just in a couple of days. And she's going to be staying with me, and she's going to be recuperating at my house. And so I'm going to have another cat in my house because I'll have her cat and my mother. And I'm really not fooling myself into thinking, oh, I'm going to have 2 weeks. I'll have all this time while she's recuperating to rest and write and read and job search and do all of that. I may have time to journal. I'm going to be real about that because I'm sure I'm going to, I do tend to come from a fairly depressed family. So part of the reason why I'm just now talking about this, because I've known about it for for a month and a couple days, is that I had to ask my mother's permission to talk about this because she really didn't want the whole world to know that she was having this issue for various reasons. And I respect her reasons for doing that, and I respect her wanting for privacy on this. But I do need to have a little bit more of an outlet to kind of talk about my writing and my inability to write or to work on my business or to anything because of my depression. So what I'm not going to do, though, in the next 2 weeks, if I do have time to write, or I do have time to read, or I do have time to job search, or I don't, I'm going to do my best to not worry about it. I know that worrying about things is what really puts you further into that spiral of depression. And I'm going to try to find things to do during that time that will keep my mind off of the problems that I'm having and try to help focus my mother on getting healthy. And as a creative of any type, you do have to sometimes stop and focus on other people and their needs to be able to become healthier and to have a better life. So my job over the next couple of weeks, and I'll be coming back on here to talk about this as well, is that I'm going to kind of talk to y'all through my process of this. I'm going to be real and honest, and I hope that my honesty about what I'm going through while I'm helping my mother with her healing and how I'm helping myself heal will help other creatives who are struggling with depression to know that it's okay. It's going to be okay, and that when the time comes to be creative, it'll be there again for you. So I want to thank y'all for joining me, and I hope you found this information helpful. If you would, please make sure that you like. I'm going through all of the stuff. Make sure you like it. Feel free to share the video with others who you think this might help, especially if you know of a writer or another creative artist who is going through depression, just to know that they're not alone. There are other people who are going through the same thing that they're going through. And it may not be, that a family member has cancer and they're having to help them with that. It could be anything, but I'm not going to minimalize whatever it is that is putting them in that situation. So, take a moment, share it with them. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I appreciate that. And I will probably take some time to to come and kind of do a little vlogging on here to, you know, just talk about things that maybe are frustrating me, or maybe if I have a good idea that I want to share and talk to y'all about, then I will be here. So thank you for joining me, and I hope you have a good day. I will see y'all the next video.